Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. Steven here with Team Euphoric, and this is day 19 of the 80 Days to Your Dream Body course. Today's protein source is going to be rabbit, and today is going to be a shoulders and arms training routine. And the theme for today's workout is going to be assisted PNF stretching. So right now, I'm going to be demonstrating some more assisted PNF stretches. Now let's get started. And while we were resting, let's continue with our PNF demonstration in sideline position. Right now, we already have done everything at the hip. So we are going to start moving distally down toward the knee. And at the knee, we are going to be focusing on the knee extensors. For this first stretch, what we want to do is focus on the knee extensors with the hip flex. By flexing the hip, we're going to remove a little bit of tension and slack from the rectus femoris because the rectus femoris attaches at the anterior inferior iliac spine as well as the patella. So to get a deep stretch, we want to focus on the ones that are just pure knee extensors, nothing else. So what we would do for this one right over here is just make sure that that hip is in flexion. With regard to the hand positioning, there's a few different options for this one. We could either go underneath and just cradle the femur. And then with the opposite arm, we could use that to take the knee into flexion to stretch the extensors. Another option is we could go hip to hip. So greater trochanter to sacrum of the patient. And then same thing, we could just go ahead and hold it over here. So we would just create a nice little comfortable spot at the medial condyle of the femur. And then with the top arm, we could either go with an overhand grip or an underhand. Me personally, an overhand would be a little bit more comfortable, but you could experiment and see what works for you. And this would be great if you have a patient that is very, very strong or very, very large because you could use a lot more leverage. Whereas if you were doing it this way over here, you're going to be using a lot more of your own muscle instead of leverage points. This would be great for a tiny patient. For a larger patient, definitely I would recommend going hip to hip. But what we would do from this one right over here is we would take the knee into flexion to stretch the extensors. And then we would have the patient extend their knee. So just tell the patient, inhale and give me a kick. They would inhale, kick, and then on the exhale, exhale, relax. And on the exhale, we would just traction everything and take them deeper into flexion to stretch those knee extensors. Now, what exactly are we going to be stretching in this position? Well, primarily, we're going to be targeting the vastus intermedius, the vastus medialis, and the vastus lateralis. We are also going to be targeting the rectus femoris, but with the rectus femoris, as I mentioned, there's the attachment from the anterior inferior iliac spine and the attachment at the patella. So we are only focusing at the patellar attachment. So for the rectus femoris, we're not getting a full stretch. We're just targeting the distal attachment. When we are going straight, we're going to be targeting the vastus intermedius the most, but we're still going to be getting the vastus medialis and lateralis. If we wanted to target a little bit more of the vastus medialis, what we would do is go into lateral rotation of the tibia and have the toes pointing up to the sky. And we would do the same thing. Inhale, contract, give me a kick. They would inhale, kick, and then you would exhale and take them deeper into the stretch. If we wanted to target the vastus lateralis, we would go toes down, so medial rotation of the tibia. And same thing, we would just cup the calcaneus, inhale, contract, they would inhale and kick, and then exhale, you would take them deeper into the stretch, and that would be for targeting more of the vastus lateralis. But primarily, it's going to be the vastus intermedius, the vastus lateralis, the vastus medialis, and we're going to be targeting the distal attachment of the rectus femoris. Some other muscles that we're going to be stretching in this position, we will be getting a little bit of the tensor fasciae lati muscle via the ITB, the iliotibial band, and we will also be getting a little bit of the sartorius. When the hip is flexed, that is when we're going to start to get the sartorius in this particular stretch. Next, one last thing is the articularis genu. The articularis genu, it's a very, very tiny muscle that causes a lot of problems for a lot of patients. And it is basically your fifth quadricep muscle. It is located just above the patella, and it helps to raise the patella up. So if anybody has any problems with knee pain, this would be a great one. And our rest period is up, time for set number 6. That was just a tiny taste of what can be found in my members only section. If you enjoyed it, become a member for only $5 a month to get access to hundreds of member only videos.